If you've ever tried playing VR and ended up feeling sick or dizzy, you know how motion sickness can completely ruin the experience. In this video, I'm going to show you 10 VR games you can play without worrying about nausea, perfect for enjoying the virtual world in a comfortable and fun way. I'm Matthew, and we'll start the list with Beat Saber, practically the perfect gateway into VR, and a big reason for that is that the player remains in a fixed spot. Movement is limited to the arms, cutting blocks to the rhythm of the music, so there's no displacement of the body in the virtual space that would normally cause nausea. This stability is crucial for beginners. The game also uses a clear and predictable perspective. The blocks come in the player's direction, and everything happens on a frontal plane, reducing the feeling of disorientation. The vibrant colors and synchronized music help focus attention, distracting the brain from the false sense of movement that could cause nausea. Additionally, the levels have a rhythmic design that avoids unexpected sudden movements. This creates predictability, and the brain can adjust to the virtual environment without a conflict between vision and balance. The simple physics of the blades and blocks keeps everything intuitive. Moss is a third-person adventure game where you control Quill, a small character in a fantasy world, while you act as a kind of interactive narrator. The camera is positioned in a fixed way or with smooth movements, avoiding abrupt displacements, which is great for preventing nausea. Quill's movement is automatic or controlled with discrete inputs without requiring the player to run or teleport quickly, eliminating the vestibular conflict between vision and balance. The sense of space is built with perspective and scale, not with camera movement, helping to maintain comfort. The environment is colorful and detailed, but with smooth transitions between areas. This keeps the player visually immersed without causing spatial confusion. The focus is on solving puzzles and interacting with objects, rather than moving quickly through the scenery. The camera design, often in a diorama perspective, allows you to see the world in miniature without feeling like you're inside a moving space. This creates a constant sense of control, without surprises that could cause nausea. Superhot VR is a first-person shooter with a unique mechanic. Time only advances when you move. This feature is a blessing for comfort, as it eliminates the rapid camera movements that normally cause nausea. You move physically in small areas or use teleportation, never quickly sliding the camera. The player always has total control over the pace, avoiding the conflict between vision and balance. This predictability is essential for VR. Enemies move slowly when you are stationary, allowing you to plan each action and maintain visual stability. This also reduces visual surprises, which are common triggers for motion sickness. The minimalist visual style, with strong colors and a clear contrast between characters and the environment, helps maintain focus and avoid visual confusion. The clean aesthetic reduces excessive stimuli, another source of nausea in VR. In addition, the game encourages natural breaks between combat and movements, creating a rhythm that gives the body time to adjust to the virtual environment. Superhot VR is practically made to be comfortable and intense at the same time.
You can shake it anyway. Well, you can shake it anyway. Oh. Well, you can shake it anyway. Oh. Well, you can shake it anyway. Push back. Don't push back. Don't push back. Don't push. That's the limit. Don't push back. Don't. No, that's the limit.
Hello, human.
Job Simulator is a comedic simulator that keeps the player practically stationary while interacting with objects around them. Displacement is minimal or non-existent, which eliminates the main cause of nausea in VR. Virtual movement not matched by the body. The first-person perspective is stable, with smooth movements only when the player looks around. Manual control is intuitive, grabbing, moving, and throwing objects, maintaining a sense of presence without abrupt displacements. The environment is colorful, fun, and detailed, but always predictable. Objects behave in a physical way, giving virtual haptic feedback, which helps the brain accept what it's seeing without creating a sensory conflict. The interactions are unhurried and without time pressure, allowing you to explore and get familiar with the virtual space at your own pace. This reduces the chance of fatigue or dizziness.
Hooray, it's 5 o'clock. Woohoo, it's time to go home.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you to come in on
Set board for instructions. Workers would traditionally start their day with an addictive jobbing within a job. Who'd have thought it?
Have you seen the latest sales report? This isn't good. Load up the old spreadsheet program and fix these numbers.
Pistol Whip is a rhythmic shooter that combines action with music, but manages to maintain comfort in VR by limiting the player's movements. Most of the displacement is automatic or in small transitions, avoiding the sudden camera movements that cause nausea. The player shoots and dodges physically, but without needing to virtually run long distances. This gives a sense of intense action, but the real body follows what it sees, eliminating vestibular conflicts. The rhythm mechanic also creates predictability. Enemies appear synchronized with the music, allowing the brain to anticipate movements. The visual aesthetic is stylized with strong colors and geometric shapes, which maintains focus and avoids sensory overload. Everything is easy to identify and follow, reducing spatial confusion, another factor that normally causes nausea in VR. The controls are simple and responsive, ensuring that virtual actions correspond to the player's real movements. This alignment between vision and movement is essential to keep the experience comfortable and fun. In addition, the game encourages natural breaks between waves of enemies and songs, giving time to recover and readjust. Pistol Whip manages to be intense, but without sacrificing the sense of stability needed for prolonged sessions in VR. I Expect You to Die 2 is a first-person spy puzzle where you interact with objects in a fixed space. The absence of movement through the environment is what makes the game so comfortable for VR. You remain seated or stationary, avoiding any feeling of disorientation. The game's focus is on solving puzzles and manipulating items, which involves precise gestures with the controls, but without virtual displacement. The brain clearly understands the relationship between action and result, eliminating the discrepancy that would cause nausea. The scenarios are detailed but small and well-defined, maintaining a consistent spatial perception. The lighting, colors, and interactive objects help guide attention without creating visual confusion, which is great for avoiding sensory fatigue. The pace is deliberate and unhurried, as each puzzle requires thought and strategy. This naturally reduces fast or unexpected movement, keeping the player relaxed and comfortable during the experience. The intuitive controls and consistent physics of the objects reinforce the sense of presence without requiring intense physical effort. I Expect You to Die 2 is a classic example of a safe and accessible VR game for those who want immersion without nausea. The Room VR is another first-person puzzle that maintains comfort, thanks to exploration limited to gestures and discrete teleportation. The camera doesn't move quickly and the player remains in a fixed spot while interacting with the environment, eliminating the risk of nausea. The detailed visual design helps orient the player. Each object is highlighted in an intuitive way, allowing for a clear focus without overloading spatial perception. This creates a sense of absolute control over the virtual environment. The movements are predictable and based on direct manipulation of objects. There are no running, jumping, or quick pans, so the brain doesn't receive conflicting signals between vision and balance. The pace of exploration is unhurried and designed for analysis and discovery, reducing unexpected stimuli that could cause discomfort. Each new area or mechanism is presented smoothly, maintaining visual stability. In addition, physical interaction with puzzles is intuitive and consistent, increasing the sense of presence without requiring intense physical effort. The Room VR A Dark Matter is therefore an example of safe VR, which prioritizes comfort and cognitive immersion. Walkabout Mini Golf VR is a virtual reality sports game where the player's movement is minimal. You remain basically stationary, using controls to aim and hit the ball, which eliminates virtual displacement that could cause nausea. The environment is large and detailed, but movement is restricted to the gesture of hitting, providing a sense of presence without disorientation. The player observes the course in a stable way, maintaining visual comfort. The perspective and level design facilitate spatial perception. Each hole is clear and predictable, without abrupt changes in height or angle. This prevents brain confusion that would normally generate nausea in VR. The controls are natural and responsive, allowing interaction with the ball and the environment to be direct and intuitive. This correspondence between real and virtual movement is crucial to avoiding motion sickness. The pace is calm and relaxing, with a focus on precision and strategy, not fast action. This makes Walkabout Mini Golf VR a pleasant experience, ideal for beginner players or those sensitive to VR. Moss Book 2 follows the same philosophy of comfort as the first game, with a fixed third-person camera and controlled movements of Quill. The feeling of safety is reinforced by the narrator perspective, which places you as an active spectator, not a physical participant in constant displacement. The puzzles and interactions are designed for visual and manual focus, not locomotor. Thus, the player is always observing and interacting in a limited way, avoiding abrupt or disorienting movements. The transition between environments is smooth and predictable, maintaining visual stability. The sound and music design help to reinforce the focus on what's on the screen, diverting attention from the feeling of virtual movement. This creates a kind of sensory anchor, which reduces the risk of nausea. The controls are intuitive, with simple gestures to manipulate objects, guide Quill, and solve challenges. This level of predictability in actions is important for maintaining comfort in VR, as the brain doesn't receive conflicting information between vision and body. Finally, the overall pace is unhurried and contemplative, perfect for longer sessions without fatigue or discomfort. Moss Book 2 maintains immersion, but respects the body's limits, making the experience pleasant and safe for any player.
But I don't need to see, so just tell me where to go. Even though all my light has been fading, and I won't need to be there to face the unknown. But tonight I've been blinded by the dark. Without fear, I will reach for a new
Res Infinite VR is a first-person rhythmic shooter, but the sense of movement is managed in a way that doesn't cause nausea. The player generally remains in a fixed spot, with movement limited to aiming and shooting, avoiding fast virtual displacement. The visual aesthetic is minimalist and futuristic, with vibrant colors and clear patterns that guide attention without confusing the brain. The musical rhythm synchronized with the action also helps create predictability in visual stimuli. The movement that occurs is fluid and controlled, usually induced by the player's actions instead of automatic movement. This reduces the discrepancy between visual perception and vestibular sensation, eliminating nausea. The VR experience is built to be hypnotic and immersive, but in a way that the physical body follows what is happening. The auditory and visual feedback is always synchronized with the player's actions, reinforcing comfort and presence. The game allows for prolonged sessions without sensory fatigue, thanks to the combination of limited movement, predictable rhythm, and clear visual design. Res Infinite VR is an excellent demonstration of how VR can be exciting and at the same time comfortable. Well, that was the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and see you in the next video.
Three, 2, 1.